One thing I should have done yesterday, which I didn't do because I didn't have too much time to do, but I wanted to plan my days, like especially on the Sunday night, make sure I know exactly what I need to do on Monday. So, you know, when I say plan my day, I mean like open up my calendar. Okay, from 9 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. what am I going to be doing? From 10:30 till 12, what am I going to be doing? Lunch, after lunch, what am I going to be doing? All these activities, I want to make sure they're all planned in blocks, because if you got them planned, then you're just going to stick to them. And it's great to have a schedule. Now, I've never been the kind of person that's like schedules. Don't get me wrong, I don't like schedules. Right, I actually don't like schedules at all. The reason why I don't like them is because I don't like predictability. I don't like knowing exactly what I'm going to do, if that makes sense. But unfortunately, I realized that because I never liked schedules, especially in school, I never got the best out of it. And when I actually put schedules in place, and they're boring, they're tedious, they're long, I actually did see good results from them. So schedules are actually very important. It keeps you on track, keeps you accountable. Those who are just, maybe this is your first episode watching this, I'm basically documenting starting a new job. So I'm transitioned into sales. I've got no sales background, never done sales before. So after graduating university, I went into a market research role. I did quite well there and established myself as a top performer. And I don't know, like I realized it was all just because you have to put a lot of hours in. I'm using that same framework, all the opportunities that I managed to get from there through hard work, and I want to apply it to here. And my philosophy is that, honestly, you can do anything. All you have to do is just put in the hours of work and stay very optimistic. Visualize that goal in mind, and you can get it. It's actually a pretty simple plan. Right, it's long, not everyone wants to do it, and that's how you can stand out, I think. I just want to show, like, I've realized on YouTube there's not many people that showcase their actual 9 to 5, and there's a bad stigma attached to being in a 9 to 5. And the reason why I'm documenting this is because I want to show people that you can become really good at something. And me starting from zero, starting from scratch, just goes to show like it's possible, because if I can do it, you can definitely do it. I did get 2 DQs though just now, and I saw your message.
There's other things we need to try, or other messaging we can help with to try and get around some of these things. So yeah, that'll be,
makes sense.
Yeah, going forward, just make sure to...
In sales, it's very different. It's like you nurture someone, you make sure that you kind of like cater to their needs. Even if they say no, you still try and keep contact. Potentially 6 months down the line, they might be a yes. In sales, it's never a no unless the company's gone bankrupt. Yeah, you just have to like be a lot more patient. It definitely helped me build my patience, which is actually a skill that I do need to develop on. Anyway, we're done with the work day. It's 5 p.m. My 9 to 5 is complete. You might remember that actually a couple of weeks ago, I paid $3,000 to join this YouTube accelerator program run by a YouTube consultant called Paddy Galloway and his team. Now, that's actually kicked off. So I had my welcome call yesterday, but the actual sessions begin today. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there's sessions, but they all happen at 5 p.m. UK time. I have to stay at work after work here, have the laptop with me, watch them live lectures and take the notes and everything. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to stay till 6.
Little things before our first lecture, which I think is gonna help make sure this is a really good time. We're gonna talk a little bit about how a video can stop being recommended. I think that's a pretty interesting topic as well. It's a complicated first topic to jump into, but hopefully this was useful, and I appreciate everyone for taking time today.
I actually learned a lot on that thing, but I also realized I have to go away and kind of audit my own channel and like really like ask myself these questions, and man, it's just finding the time really, but it needs to be done.
Couple keys in my pocket, another stream on my conscience.
Man, inside that train was like a steam room. Already 7 p.m. right now. To be honest with you, very tired. I'm only on 6 hours of sleep, but have to go to gym. It is a big gym day today. It has to be done.
Staying up. You do not want me to slide. Walking, I couldn't find it. If you don't call me this time, I guess I'll decide.
Just before I went to the gym, I was not feeling it. I was so tired. When I did that session in the YouTube cohort, towards the end of that, I was literally trying my hardest to keep my eyes open. The last thing I could think about was commuting back home on a 1-hour train journey, going home, getting changed, driving 20 minutes to the gym, and then doing a strength back workout, lifting weights. It was the last thing I was thinking about. To that point, I was like, you know what, this is it, we gotta do it. Once it's completed, right now, this present moment, it's currently 9 p.m. I feel like the script has been completely flipped 180 degrees. I feel very different. I feel super energized. It's a weird one, like, because you're exhausting your energy, but when you come out of it, your mental energy is like more clear. I can't even describe it. I've noticed that this is the theme throughout the last month. Every time I feel tired before I go to the gym, like very exhausted, once I complete it and I come out the other side, like right now, it's just different. Before, I wouldn't, if I feel tired, I wouldn't go because I just give into how I feel. But recently I realized that if you go by how you feel, you won't get to the place you want to get to, because everyone would go by how they feel. Meaning, it's the difficult option to go to the gym after work. And I get it. It's not easy, right? It's not easy, but I get it. It's a difficult option. You don't want to do it. But when you do it and you finish the workout, not only do you just feel like temporarily rush of dopamine and you're ready to, do some more activities or something, or do something before you go to bed. Or if I give in to my feelings, it will just mean like I never get that job done. I never go to the gym. I go home and I just chill, sleep, and I do it again. And it just becomes easier for me to not go to the gym the next day because I've already built that bit of bad habit momentum. And one of the things I want to describe it to you is like, I don't remember what I was doing this time last year. This specific day, this specific hour, I cannot tell you what I was doing last year. I just can't remember it. Now, there are certain days I remember really well, like for example, birthdays or special events or holidays, because these things lock into your memory because they were significant, right? You don't remember every single day, but you remember certain days that brought you a lot of, whether it's an emotion or just an experience in general. You remember those days. I'd always remember my birthdays. I'd always remember if it's a friend's birthday and we had a party or something. I'd always remember that. If it was a holiday, I'd always remember that. I remember all my holidays. Now, I don't remember what I was doing on the mundane things, but just remember one thing is that for about 90% of your year, if that, right, minimum, it's just filler episodes. 90% of the year is just filler episodes. Today, right now, it's a filler episode, right? I'm documenting this because I realized every day when I document it, there are some days which I can remember in my mind. Like when I went to Croatia, I remember that because it's a different experience, right? Like when I first started my role in my new job, the first day, I remember it. But then there are days like this that next year I won't remember. Like I won't remember this day next year. The only way I can potentially remember is if I just flick through my YouTube channel and I see the video. But usually no one really documents their entire days, right? It's not a normal thing. What I'm trying to tell you is that there are loads of filler days in your year. If you say no to doing the hard things, the difficult tasks, then you're actually shooting yourself in the foot here, because think of it this way. Your future self hasn't been crafted yet. You can visualize it. You can imagine how he or she might be, the attributes that they carry, the skills that they have, the way they go about their days, the way they think. You can imagine those things, but it hasn't actually come into reality just yet. The only way you could create that character into existence is if you make sure those filler days like today are actually productive. That's the thing, that's all it is. I don't know right now how my physique will look like in a year's time. What I can control is my routine and me sticking to my routine. Right, today's a gym day, I'm going to show up for myself. That is it, like regardless. I would go to the gym. I'm not going to give in to the way I feel, the way I'm tired or whatever. I'm going to go to the gym. I realized that when I was at uni, I was living in a bubble. Everything was artificially made. First year of uni was one of the best years of my life, but it was also one of the most least productive years because everything was taken care of. I had a specific accommodation. They took the part of the town and they just made it all into students, and they call it the students' village. It's basically an artificially crafted environment. There were, activities to do on certain days. You could go to the common rooms and play like pool or watch TV. There was like this small pub, but it was just for students. It was all crafted, right? It was like that. But then when you step out of that bubble into the real world, it's massive. It's different. It's not the same. You don't have that kind of you could say comfort zone. But even in reality itself, it's also still crafted because you've got systems in place. Like you've got your 9 to 5, everything. And I realized I can't live like this. Like I find it so boring to be in a artificially manufactured environment, because I know the play. I know how things are going to pan out, right? It's very difficult to explain. It's predictable, and that predictableness it just makes me feel bored. I don't like that. It makes me feel bored. So I realized the only way out, right? The only way to basically do that is to make your own, or curate your own environment. I can't curate my own environment right now. I don't have the funds. I'm a broke 25-year-old with high dreams and high hopes, aspirations. I could say that. To do that, you need to garner skills. That's one thing you need to realize. If you're in your 20s, the main thing to do is to obtain and acquire as much skills as possible that will benefit you in the long run. And for me, one of the biggest skills is sales. That's why I chose to do this career. I took a pay cut to go into this career because I need this to learn from this in order for me to progress in the future. And I've already learned a lot of things, and it's only been 1 month, and I can't wait to learn more. But you have to beat the 9 to 5. That's the plan. You have to beat the 9 to 5. You can't do that actually within the 9 to 5 bracket, which I realized you have to put in the hours. And I was telling this to my friend the other day. I was explaining this concept in a conversation we had after we played some paddle yesterday. When I was a kid growing up, I used to love Pokemon, right? I used to love it. I used to play the games. I used to get it on my Game Boy, my Nintendo DS, 3DS, whatever. I used to play it all the time. And my friend, he'd also play it as well. I'm going to give this example because it's pretty easy to explain. Also, if you've played Pokemon, you probably understand it as well. But it's all the same concept. In the game, you have basically levels to complete. It's a story mode. You end up fighting these different characters, and towards the end, you fight the hardest characters or whatever. I can't remember exactly how many hours, but typically, let's just say for convenience, it takes 40 hours on average to complete the game. All right, that's cool. Story mode, complete the game, 40 hours. I would play the game for about 100 hours because number one, I just love the game, but also I play competitive as well. So I was pretty much a bit of a nerd when it comes to Pokemon. I used to battle online competitiveness, but to do that, you can't put 40 hours and just complete the game. You have to do above and beyond that, because you're fighting against people. The top people in the game are putting probably 1,000 hours in, right? They know exactly the plays. They know exactly what moves you're going to choose. They know exactly, if you were to bring out a specific character, they know how to defeat that specific character. They know the play. They know everything. They can see a few steps ahead because they played the game a lot more, right? Same thing with 9 to 5. You can have your typical 9 to 5, you cruise through it, but I don't think you'll get anywhere in that sense, right? Yeah, sure, you might get a few promotions and stuff, whatever. You're still stuck within the confinements of the 9 to 5. To escape it, you have to beat it, right? You have to make yourself an invaluable asset. Obtain all the skills. Make sure you soak up everything. Treat yourself as your own personal company. You're acquiring all these skills, and you're becoming so valuable that you can take everything you learn. Even if you were to leave, you can start something. You can spark a new flame, right? You'll be fine. This is why people for example, Mark Zuckerberg left university early. Steve Jobs left university early, I think. A lot of people, rich people, dropped out of university because they knew it wasn't going to get them anywhere, because they pretty much complete the game in that sense, and they start their own things. Don't look at them now. To escape the confinements of the 9 to 5, you must first beat it. Good luck.